Shabbat Shalom. Shalom to the house of Israel. Thank you for joining Israelite Nation Assembly. And we want to welcome once again this week for the second time our YouTube live. And bear with us because we're going through a learning process. So if you have any suggestions, you can message us and let us know what you think. Please share our videos. Please like our videos. And please follow our videos. With that being said, we have Brother Iris coming with our Torah reading. We already have done our prayer for the day. We're getting into our Torah reading. And then we're going off into the lesson. So after the Torah reading, make sure you stay tuned and you watch because we have a very important lesson, Christianity rooted in paganism. So we're going to do our Torah reading today. And Brother Iris is coming. Come on, Brother Iris.
All right, today's Torah reading, we're going to go through some Torah, which is in Exodus 21. I know we did it last week, but we're going through the rest. And we're going to start at Exodus 21 and 20. If you do bodily harm to any of your employees to the point of death, you will be punished. And for that, we're going to Exodus 21 and 20. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod and he die under his hand, he shall be punished. If you do, the next one is, if you do any bodily harm to an occultee while she's pregnant and she loses her child, you will be punished by her husband and have to pay reparations. For that, Exodus 21 and 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husbands will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. The next one is, if you make an employee lose a bodily part, you must let them go of their free will. And that is Exodus 21, 26, and 27. And if a man smite the eye of his servant, or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And if he smite out his manservant's tooth, or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth's sake. The next one, if one of your animals kill an ox or an occultee, it must die also. After the animal dies, the owner is square. And that is Exodus 21 and 28. If an ox gore a man or a woman, that they die, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit. Quit means square. Number 5 is, if you dug a hole and someone's livestock falls in it, you must pay for it to compensate losses. And that's Exodus 21, 33, and 34. And if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. The next one we're going to go to is, if one of your animals kills one of your brethren's animals, atone and make it right. And that's Exodus 21, 35, and 36. And if one man's ox hurts another, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Or if it be, knowing that the ox have used to push in time past, and his owner have not kept him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own. The next one we're going to go to, if you steal, get caught, get beat up or die for it, no harm will come to who you stole from. And that's Exodus 22 and 2.
Torah keeps it real.
If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. And the next one is, if you steal from your brethren.
So in other words, if he's breaking into someone's property and they kill him for it, then
there's
that
no harm coming.
That
to
person
brother.
that killed him is innocent.
Yeah, it's innocent. Yeah. The next one is, if you steal from your brethren, you will pay multiple to make it right with him. And that's Exodus 22 and 1. If a man steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. The next one is, if you get caught stealing, you are going to atone and pay reparations, whether out of pocket or servitude. Exodus 22:3-4. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. And the last one, we're gonna it says, if your livestock is eaten off your brother's land, you must pay for it. And that's Exodus 22:5. If a man shall cause a field or a vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed it another man's field, of the best of his own field, and the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. And that concludes today's Torah reading.
And Yah bless and set apart the Torah reading for today. So we're going to get right back into the lesson. We're going to get into the lesson. We're going to begin the lesson. I'm sorry. And because of the quote unquote season, we're going to deal with a couple of things. So it's not going to be your regular Christmas is pagan message, but we're going to go with Christianity is rooted in paganism. The whole shot is rooted in paganism. All right. There are fundamental truths that vastly makes the Israelite way of understanding the Bible very different from the way Christians view the Bible. The doctrines of the Christians are viewed through a lens of paganism. Christianity doesn't offer the truth of the scripture. It offers half-truths and paganistic rituals. It is our job as teachers, as Israelite believers, of studiers, or seekers of Yah's truth and Yah's word, with so much information at our fingertips, to rightly divide the word of truth. Our very salvation depends upon it. Our very salvation depends upon it. We cannot allow ignorant men and women, false pastors, false prophets, void of understanding, heavy in emotionalism, and consumed with demonic spirits, deceive us with their non-biblical understanding of the word of Yah, mixed with their ancient forms of paganistic practices. So the first scripture we want to go to is Psalms 111, familiar scripture. Psalms 111, start at verse 9, and we're going to read on down to the verse 10.
Psalms 111, verses 9 and 10. He sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name. Mm-hmm. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. Mm-hmm.
Read that part again. Read verse 9 again.
Mm-hmm. Psalms 111, verse 9 and 10. He sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
That's okay. It went down. It went down. That's fine. I'll deal with that another time then. Let's read it again.
Psalms 111, verses 9 and 10.
Uh-huh.
He sent redemption unto his people.
He sent redemption to his people, being us, the Israelites. Come on.
He hath commanded his covenant forever.
He hath commanded his covenant forever. Come on.
Holy and reverend is his name.
Mm-hmm. Read.
The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom.
So the fear, the reverence, the fear of the Most High is the very beginning of wisdom. Come on.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
And a good understanding, the way you get a good understanding is by keeping the commandments of the Most High. If you do not keep the commandments of the Most High, then chances are you will not understand the Bible.
His praise endureth forever.
Praise the Lord forever. The commandments are spiritual. We alluded to that. We spoke to that last week. Let's go to Romans 7 and 14 real quick. Because the commandments are spiritual. The commandments are spiritual. Romans 7 and 14.
Romans 7 verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For we know that the law is spiritual.
The law is spiritual. The
But
law is spiritual.
But
the
I am
law
carnal.
is spiritual. Come on.
But I am carnal, sold under sin.
Sold unto sin. The law is spiritual. So if you're keeping the commandments, then you are in the spirit. If you're keeping the commandments, you are in the spirit. Give me John 6 and 63. John 6, 63. If you are keeping the commandments, then you are living in the spirit.
John 6 verse 63. It is the spirit that quickeneth.
And the spirit, keeping the commandments, is what quickeneth. Come on.
The flesh provideth nothing.
The flesh provideth nothing. Was that all the 63?
No.
Come on.
The words that I speak unto you,
Watch this.
they are spirit, and they are life.
What words did he speak? The commandments. The words that I speak, Yehoshua said, they are spirit and they are life. Let's get to. I'm showing you something systematically. Keep the commandments. You got to be in the spirit. You being in the spirit, it gives you life. Let's go from there. Let's go from there to John 1 and 4. They are spirit and they are life. For those of you that just came in, the name of the lesson is Christianity Rooted in Paganism.
John 1 verse 4. In him was life.
And in him was what?
Was life.
Speaking of Yahushua Messiah, come on.
And the life was the light of men.
And the life was the light of men. All going around back to keeping the commandments. Take care to keep these commandments so you can understand the spiritual matters. You can be the best reader. You can have the best understanding in the world when it comes to worldly things. But when it comes to this Bible, you got to be in the spirit to understand it, or you will not understand it. There's plenty of people that misunderstand the Bible because they're not in the spirit. They're not in the spirit. Jeremiah 10 and 1. Now, with that being said, let's go to Jeremiah 10 and 1. Because everybody got the Bible, don't they? All the Christian church is full of Bibles, right? They got them on the pews. They got them in the boxes. When you come in, they give you a free Bible. They carry them when they go home. They got all kind of study Bibles, huge lexicons, Hebrew study Bible. They got all kinds of stuff, right? Well, how come they don't read this?
Bookstore.
How come they don't? You walk right past the Christmas tree in church. You walk right past the Christmas tree in church, and the mistletoes, and the wreaths, but you don't see this when you open your Bible. Come on.
Jeremiah 10 verses 1 through 5.
Read.
Hear ye the word which is the Most High, which the Most High speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Master.
He was speaking to Israel. Come on.
Learn not the way of the heathen.
Don't learn the way of the other nations. Come on.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Come on.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
The nations are dismayed at the signs. Come on.
For the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
One cuts a tree out of the forest. Come on.
The work of the hands of the workmen.
Come on.
With axe.
Where have we seen this before? Come on.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with what?
Silver and gold.
They dress it with silver and gold. Where have we seen this before?
Christmas.
Oh, okay. Come on.
I was dismayed.
You dismayed? Come on.
They deck it with silver.
They deck it with silver and gold. What else do?
They fasten it with nails.
They fasten it with nails.
And with hammers.
Uh-huh.
That it move not.
That it doesn't move once they bring it inside indoors. Come on.
They are upright as the palm tree.
Mm-hmm.
But speak not.
They don't speak. Come on.
They must need be born.
It's not alive. Come on.
Because they cannot go.
Mm-hmm.
Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
This is a dead idol. This is an idol, an idol, an idol. I know you Christians don't believe it's an idol. I know you only doing it for the kids, so you say. But you idol worshiping. It's a time of love and reflection and gift giving. You an idol worshiper. Christmas traditions are actually the winter solstice traditions. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The winter solstice marks the shortest day of the year, and is also traditionally understood to be the beginning of winter. So on yesterday, December 21st, marks the winter solstice. It was the shortest day of the year. I think in New York had 9 hours of sunlight, and I think the UK had like a little bit over 7 hours of sunlight. It marks the shortest day of the year. Now the sun is like essentially being reborn. Reborn. That's what they would say. It's now the sun is being reborn. So now you're going to start having longer days. You understand? Okay, the solstice is also known as the Yule. Yule. What did you say? Yuletide carols. The solstice is also known as the Yule. It has been celebrated as a pagan holiday for thousands of years. And in all actuality, many of the Christmas traditions that seem to be so tightly intertwined with Christianity itself are actually borrowed from paganism. And by borrowed, I mean repurposed. I mean, they stole it from paganism and implemented it in Christianity. We want to find out which of the favorite Christmas traditions are actually steeped in pagan celebrations of the solstice. All right? Give me Luke 18 and 30. Because the Christmas tree or the Yule tree actually has its roots in pagan celebrations. Let's see what the Most High thinks about this.
18 and what?
18 and 30.
Luke 18 verse 30. Who shall not receive manifold more in this present time, and in the world to come life everlasting?
Is that Leviticus? I didn't mean Luke. I'm sorry. Did I say Luke? I didn't mean Luke. I meant Leviticus. Leviticus 18 and 30. I'm sorry.
Leviticus 18 verse 30. Therefore shall ye keep mine ordinance, that ye commit not any of these abominable customs.
Don't keep any of these abominable customs. Come on.
Which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the master, your Yah.
The Yule tree has been a symbol of worship for thousands of years, before it became known as the Christmas tree. So the Yule tree and the Christmas tree is the same thing. It's synonymous. Yule tree. You have the Yule tree and you have the Yule log. It's two different things. The Yule log was burned to give light in one of the darkest days of the year, which was in the middle, which was the beginning of winter. We call the beginning of winter, which we just had December 21st. So the Yule log would have been used in the winter solstice. The Yule log would have been used to give light. The Yule tree is something altogether different. It's now what we call the Christmas tree. Y'all understand what I'm saying? All right. Where was I at? Okay. Evergreen trees were seen as a symbol of continual life because they didn't die in the winter. Evergreen trees is the reason why you call it evergreen tree. It always stayed green. Even in the wintertime, it was the greenest tree because it was the only tree that was out there that was green. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Evergreen trees is a symbol of continual life, especially at the time of the solstice, at the winter solstice. All right. 2 Kings 23 and 6. Y'all okay? All right. 2 Kings 23 and 6. This is an old practice filled with divinations and idol worship. It don't seem like it doesn't. Don't you know how it always says that it seemed like Satan would always appear as an angel of light. Y'all heard that before, right?
Oh yeah.
Don't Christmas come with cookies, smiling, and sunshine, and
Lots of lights.
lights and lights. Hey, it's a time of love. They hold hands and sing around the Christmas tree. You get what you always wanted all year long. You've been throwing hints. I want that Rolex. You're telling your husband you want that Rolex all year long. And you just hoping that one little small box under there is that Rolex you've been asking for. That's right.
2 Kings 23, verse 6.
Okay, read.
And he brought out the grove from the house of the Most High.
Read. I want you to make emphasis on that again. Read it again.
And he brought out the grove
He brought out the grove. He brought out the grove. Come on.
from the house of the Most High.
Where did he bring it out from?
The house of the Most High.
What is the house of the Most High?
Church. Well, temple.
The temple.
The temple.
The temple. The house of the Most High is the temple. Come on.
Without Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
unto the brook Kidron,
Mm-hmm.
and burned it
He burned the grove. Come on.
at the brook Kidron,
Mm-hmm.
and stamped it small to powder,
Mm-hmm.
and cast the powder thereof upon the grave of the children of the people.
So, what would you think that the prophet would bring out of the house of the Most High and burn it and stamp on it until it grind it into powder and then throw it on the graves of the people? What would you think that was? That grove. So what the KJV did, I know you got the scriptures, right? What is it? What does your scriptures call it?
Out of the
It should say
Asherah.
Asherah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Asherah, the KJV says grove, and the scripture says Asherah, right? So we have to find out what this Asherah is. An Asherah pole is the sacred tree or pole that stood near Canaanite religious locations to honor the Ugaritic mother goddess Ashtoreth or Ashereth.
Yeah.
So what the wicked Israelites did, wicked kings included, they actually put a tree inside what's known as a Christmas tree, like they do today, inside the churches. They actually had this inside the temple of the Most High. And when the prophet seen it, he went and cut it down and drug it out of the temple and burnt it and stamped it down in the dust and put it on the graves of those who was worshiping this thing. All right. Okay, let's get some more meanings of that Asherah. The Asherah or Asherim is plural. In revised version is the revised version instead of grove. So whenever you see that term grove in the Bible, which we're going to go some of those scriptures, whenever you see that term grove in the Bible, it really was talking about a place of worship and or a tree. More than likely a tree that was being worshipped.
Okay.
A tree that was being worshipped. You had something you want to say?
Because I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory because trees grow in the grove.
In groves, yeah.
Fruit grow in the grove.
Yeah,
Right.
it's on the grove,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But some people don't know that
Right.
they don't make the connection with the trees.
Right.
Yeah. So this was the name of a central Canaanitish goddess Estra, the feminine of the Assyrian Ishtar. Its symbol was the stem of a tree, deprived of its boughs. You know, the boughs are the limbs is cut from the tree trunk, and rudely shaped into an image and planted in the ground. Such religious symbols, groves, are frequently alluded to in Scripture. All right, here's Exodus 34, and we're going to go through some of those scriptures now. Exodus 34 and 13. Start at the 13th verse, on 13 and 14.
Exodus 34, 13 and 14. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For thou shalt worship no other Yah. For the master, whose name is jealous, is a jealous Yah.
That's it. Is that 14? All right, give me y'all write the scripture down. Y'all write that scripture down. Okay. Give me Judges 6 and 25.
Judges 6, verse 25. And it came to pass the same night that the Most High said unto him, Take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal. That thy
throw
father
down the altar of who?
of Baal. That thy
I
father
know who Baal is, right? Okay, come on.
that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it.
Cut down the grove, the tree that's being worshipped by it. By it. 1 Kings 16 to 33.
First Kings 16, verse 33. And Ahab made a grove. And
Ahab did what?
made a grove.
Ahab, with his sick self, made a grove. So making a grove means he made an image, right?
Right.
He erected a tree and made it an image. Come on.
And Ahab did more to provoke the Most High Yah of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him.
Well, thanks, Ahab. You provoked the Almighty Yah. Than all the kings before him. Than all the kings. But sometimes these images that they erected were made of silver and carved of stone. So let's get that. We're gonna come back to this. Get that. I just want to get that. I love that. Let's get Deuteronomy 28. That was 1 Kings 16 and 33.
33.
Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 67 or 64. 67. Wood and stone is what I'm looking for.
64.
64.
Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people,
Thanks, Ahab, for what you did. Come on.
from one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Other gods mean other idols, and worshiping other idols. Come on, which we did and which we are doing to this very day. Come on.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Even wood and stone.
All right, that's all I wanted from there. Let's go back and get to. Matter of fact, let's read 1 Kings again. 1 Kings 16 and 33.
1 Kings 16, verse 33. And Ahab made a grove. And Ahab did more to provoke the Most High Yah.
I can't get over that part right there. He did more. You want to be the one that's known for doing more? Do more to provoke him?
Right.
Come on.
And Ahab made a grove, and Ahab did more to provoke the Most High Yah of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him.
That was before him. Give me 2 Kings, the 21st chapter. Let's see what this joker did. You know, this joker is the reason why we in captivity right now.
21.
2 Kings
1 through 10.
2 Kings 21, 1 through 21. I told you want to do a little reading now.
Said we.
I've been reading.
Right. 2 Kings 21, verses 1 through 21.
Take your time.
Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign.
What was his name again? Because we got to know this joker's name. Manasseh. Because he did something. The reason why we're suffering for what he did right now. Come on.
Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign.
He was 12 years old when he began to reign.
And reigned 55 years in Jerusalem.
And he reigned 55 years? Come on.
Right. And his mother's name was Hephzibah.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High.
And Manasseh did what was evil in the sight of Yah. Come on.
After the abominations of the heathen, whom the Most High cast out before the children of Israel. For he built up again the high places which Hezekiah his father had destroyed, and he reared up altars for Baal.
So listen, so the man's father, the boy's father, had destroyed all of the high places, right? And when he got on the throne, what did he do? He went and built them right back up. All of the wicked, evil, idol worshiping devils that was in the land, his father destroyed. He said, "Forget that. I'm putting them back up." Come on.
For he built up again the high places which Hezekiah his father had destroyed, and he reared up altars for Baal, and made a grove, and did Ahab, king of Israel, and worshipped.
Did we just read about Ahab? And 1 Kings 16 and 33?
Yeah.
All right.
And worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served them. And he built altars in the house of the Most High, of which the Master said, "In Jerusalem will I put my name." And he built altars for all the hosts of heaven in the two courts of the house of the Master.
What verse you on?
5.
5. Read start from verse 4 again.
And he built altars in the house of the Master, of which the Most High said, "In Jerusalem will I put my name."
So he's actually in the set apart city, erecting idols and altars to sacrifice to idol gods. And that's why I said we're in the place where the Most High said, "I'm going to place my name." So he said, "Forget you, Yah. I'm gonna put Baal here. I'm gonna put Molech here. I'm gonna put all of these different idols here in this place." Come on, verse 6. We're on, right?
No, 5.
Well, that's verse 5. Come on.
Yeah. And he built altars for the hosts of heaven in the two courts of the house of the Most High. And he made his son pass through the fire.
He made what?
And he made his son pass through the fire.
He made his son pass through the fire, meaning the sacrifice of Molech. You would have to sacrifice your children, meaning you would kill your children and burn them with fire.
He killed his son.
Yes, he killed his son. He sacrificed his son to an idol god. He sacrificed his son to an idol god. This joke is the reason why we had to go into captivity. You gonna see, watch. Just go see, watch. You gonna hear what I'm saying too. Come on.
And he made his son pass through the fire.
Come on.
And observed times. And used enchantments.
He used enchantments, meaning he used witches. Come on.
And dealt with familiar
And
spirits.
he used witches and warlocks. Come on.
And wizards.
Come on.
He wrought much wickedness.
He wrought much wickedness
in the sight of the Most High, to provoke him to anger.
Now Ahab, the Bible said in 1 Kings 16, it says that Ahab had done so much wickedness, more than any other king before him, until you got to this joker.
Wow.
This joker did more than Ahab did. That's right. That's right. Jezebel. That's right. That's right. Come on. Yeah, come on.
Of course.
Come on.
Of course he did. And he set a graven image of the grove that he had made.
He said a graven image of the tree that he made. That, remember, grove mean tree.
Yeah.
We still talking about them Christmas trees called groves. Come on.
And he set a graven image of the grove that he had made in the house, of which the master said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever.
Read verse 7 again.
Yes. Yeah. And he set a graven image of the grove that he had made in the house, of which the master said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever.
So he took an actual image, an item, and set it up in the temple. Wasn't this man wicked? This man was wicked. He took an actual idol for people to come to in the temple of the Most High and bow down to and worship. He put it beside Yah. You worship Yah in this one. I'm surprised Yah didn't kill him right away. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. Come on.
Neither will I make the feet of Israel move any more out of the land which I gave their fathers, only if they will observe to do according to all that I have commanded them, and according to all the law that my servant Moses commanded them.
He said, I'm not going to even let them move. I wouldn't uproot them. I would not uproot them if they just did everything I commanded them to do, that I gave my servant Moses. If they obey me, I'm not going to uproot them. But you not obeying, and you going to set up idols in the land, guess what? You got to go. He decided right then and there, you going into slavery, and you getting out this land. Only if you obey, I wouldn't uproot you. But now you got to get uprooted. You don't deserve a temple. I'm going to let them heathens come in and tear this place up and send your behind into slavery. You got to go. That's why he didn't kill him. That's why he didn't kill him. I'm going to let you do it just so I can enslave your whole nation.
It's right here.
Come on, read on.
All right. Okay. Neither will I make the
My
feet
fault. I get that. Come on. Read on.
I was going to say that's gangster. But neither will I make the feet of Israel move any more out of the land which I gave their fathers, only if they will observe to do according to all that I have commanded them.
Watch this at the top of verse 9. Read it.
And according to all the law.
Verse 9. The top of verse 9.
But they hearken not.
But they hearken not. They listened not. They didn't listen to that. So they got to have their behinds removed.
And Manasseh seduced them to do more evil.
Oh my. He said that's not enough. Manasseh said that's not enough. Read on.
And Manasseh seduced them to do more evil than did the nations whom the Most High destroyed before the children of Israel.
So guess what? The Canaanites, Jebusites, Hebusites, the Hittites, everybody we destroyed. The Edomites, everybody. Manasseh said we're going to do more wickedness and evil than they did when they was here.
Wow.
And we supposed to be the light upon the earth. But we going to do more evil than they did. And Yah just sat back and shook his head and said, I'm going to send these Negroes. I almost said something else. These Negroes in straight slaves. They gotta go. They gotta go. And then this is the reason why we're no longer the head, but we are the tail. Come on.
And the Most High spoke by his servants, the prophets, saying,
Read.
because Manasseh king of Judah have done these abominations, and have done wickedly above all the Amorites did, which were before him, and have made Judah also to sin with his idols, Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yah of Israel, behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah, that whosoever heareth of it,
Watch this.
both his ears shall tingle.
Your ears is going to itch when you hear what I'm going to do. I'm going to destroy the temple. I'm going to destroy the land. I'm going to kill the women. I'm going to kill the men. I'm going to destroy the children. They're going to forget their land, their name, their culture. They ain't going to even remember who they is when I get done with them. The ears is going to tingle. When their ears is going to tingle. Tingle means itch. Their ears going to itch when they hear about what I do to them. I'm going to utterly, as Deuteronomy 28 says, destroy them. This is the Manasseh is that's the one. Right there.
You telling them Manasseh?
Yeah, I'm telling him it's his fault. We got uprooted because of him.
Yeah.
Read on. Where we at 13?
Yeah.
Read
and
on.
I will stretch over Jerusalem the line of Samaria, and the plummet of the house of Ahab. And I will wipe Jerusalem as a man wiped a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down.
Ooh, he did it to us, didn't he?
Wow. And I will forsake the remnant of mine inheritance.
He said, I'm going to forsake the remnant of mine here. Because remember, we was already separated and split. Israel and Judah was already split.
Right.
Come on.
And deliver them into the hand of their enemies.
And he did. Deliver us in the hand of our enemies. Come on.
And they shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies.
Where we hear this before? Wow. Did we hear this in Deuteronomy 28? They become a prey. And what's a prey?
A victim.
A victim. You go.
So they're just talking about Judah here.
Just talking about Judah here. Israel was already separated. But I think he did mention Israel in here. He did mention Northern Kingdom in here as well.
Yeah.
Come on.
And they shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies. Because they have done that which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger since the day their fathers came forth out of Egypt, even unto this day.
Y'all see, I'm sick of them. They've been pushing me since they left Egypt. I'm sick of them. Come on.
Moreover, Manasseh shed innocent blood very much.
He killed innocent people that didn't even do nothing. Come on.
Till he had filled Jerusalem from one end to another. Beside his sin, wherewith he made Judah to sin.
Come on.
In doing that which was evil in the sight of the Most High.
Come on.
Now the rest of the acts of Manasseh, and all that he did, and his sin that he sinned, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? And Manasseh slept with his fathers.
So he died. He died, got old, and died. So he ruled 55 years, and he was 12 years old when he took the throne. So how old is that? 67? Or 68? How old is that? 67? Yeah, 67 years old when he died. Come on.
And was buried in the garden of his own house, in the garden of Uzzah. And Ammon, his son, reigned in his stead. Ammon was 22 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 2 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Meshulameth, the daughter of the daughter of Haruz
Haruz.
of Jotbah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Most High.
His descendant too. His son did what was evil in the sight of the Most High too.
As his father Manasseh did.
He was wicked as hell too. Come on.
And he walked in all the way that his father walked in.
He did everything his father did. He did too. His father told him to do it. His father taught him to do it. Come on.
And served the idols.
He did what?
And he served the idols that
He
his
served
father
the
served.
idols that his father served.
And worshipped them.
And he worshipped them. The king of Israel to sit on the throne worshiping false idols. Just like the Israelites today that running around here with their groves, Christmas trees, Yule trees, celebrating the pagan festivals of the winter solstice. Read on. Read on.
And he forsook the Most High Yah of his fathers, and walked not in the way of the Most High.
He forsook Yah. He forsook Yah. So thanks, Vanessa. And your wicked as hell sons. Thanks for slavery. Thanks. All right. Well, he make me mad every time I read about him. He upsets me. All right. So we see that this has been a continual tradition throughout the time of Israel. And we were very heavily involved in grove and tree worship, idolatry as well. Did we already read 2 Kings 16? I don't think so. Let's get 2 Kings 16 and 1.
2 Kings 16, verses 1 through 4.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
16 and 2 Kings 16 and 1. We read 1 Kings 16, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Let's get 2 Kings 16, 1 and 1. Start 1 through 4. Yeah.
2 Kings 16 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign.
Come on.
20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Most High, his Yah, like his father David. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel.
But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel. Walking in the way of the kings of Israel is talking about Northern Kingdom. Because remember, Northern Kingdom forsook Yah and was idol worshiping. Come on.
Yea, and made his son to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen.
So he killed his son and sacrificed his sons as well. Come on.
Whom the Most High cast out from before the children of Israel.
Give me Leviticus right quick. Leviticus 20 and 2. Let's see, because there's a law that talks about what we're reading here. Leviticus 20 and 2.
Leviticus 20 and 2. Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel,
Watch this.
or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel,
or of the non-Israelites that are living amongst us, come on,
that giveth any of his seed unto Molech,
to give any of his children to Molech, come on,
he shall surely be put to death.
he shall surely be put to death. Come on.
People of the land shall stone him with stones.
The people of the land shall kill the man that gives his seed or his children over or sacrifices children to the idol Molech. Now Molech, we're going back to 2 Kings 16. Molech was the god in which Manasseh. Remember, Manasseh killed his son and burned his sons with fire too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Israelites was doing this.
Oh.
Israelites was doing it. Matter of fact, we was doing this in the wilderness. Amos 5 and 26. 5 and 26. Was doing this in the wilderness.
Amos 5, verse 26. But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Molech, and Cheon, your images, the star of your Yah, or your God, which ye made to yourselves.
Which you made to yourselves. Well, that was 26 right there. No, nope, that's all I wanted was 25. I just wanted to show that let's read it again. Let's read it again.
26.
No, 25. That's what I want. 25 and 26. That's what I want.
Right.
25 and 26.
Amos 5,
25 and 26.
Amos
That's what I
5,
want.
verses 25 and 26.
Oh.
Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years?
Israel was in the wilderness 40 years, supposed to be offering sacrifices unto God. Come on.
O house of Israel.
Watch what they did, though.
But you have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch, and Cheon, your images, the star of your God, which you made to yourself.
So you set up and erected these trees and these groves and these idols in the wilderness as well. That's why I wanted 25. I said 26. I wanted to start at 25.
No, go ahead.
Yep, that's it. That's it. You want to read down? Look, just read down. Read down. You want to read down? Read down.
Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith the Master, whose name is the Yah of hosts.
He's going to cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus. All right. Where we at? Where we at?
2 Kings.
So, 2 Kings 16. Read verse 3 and 4. 2 Kings 16, 3 and 4.
2 Kings 16, 3 and 4. But he walked in the way of the king of Israel, yea, and he made his sons to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Most High cast out from before the children of Israel.
The Canaanites, Jebusites, Perizzites cast them out before us. Come on.
And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places, and on the hills, and under every green tree.
Read verse 4 again.
And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places, and on the hills,
And on the hills.
and under every green tree.
And under every evergreen tree.
Great.
Wow.
Under those Christmas trees. We got a big Molech tree. We got a big grove tree down and Yule tree downtown.
Oh yeah.
Lit up, shining, ready for all your little children to be sacrificed under it.
I got you. Somebody wanted me to put a tree up like this. I was like, I'm not touching that damn tree. I'm not touching that tree. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't deal with Christmas, and I know what the tree represents. I'm not touching that tree. You could just put it on the table. I was like, no.
And what they
I
would
don't
do,
do that.
and the reason why I said that, because what they would do with these groves or with these Yule trees, what they would do is they would decorate them with trinkets that symbolize personal wishes. Like for the new year, I want this to happen to me for the new year. So they would put like coins and lights and corn for harvest and things that's meant to bring wealth. Sun. That's why you decorate the tree. People need to pay attention to what they do stuff for.
What it all
Well, we
means.
got ornaments.
Yeah, why you got ornaments and stuff like that? It was sunlight and it's for things to make. They want to see a bountiful harvest or a good year next year. They were making wishes and praying to the Yule tree or the Christmas tree. We would call the Christmas tree this time of year. So I hope you Christians that be secretly watching understand. You Christians that would understand when you go into your Christmas celebrations and you at church doing your Christmas, doing your secret Santa. How do you have secret Santas at church? At church, you know what I'm saying? While you're doing these things, you need to understand and know what these things are about. Even Santa himself is Satan.
Wow.
If you Google it and look it up,
Yes.
it'll tell you.
Yes.
Look up the name Santa. Where it
So-
derives from.
So you have to watch these things. Now, here's some things that I that this surprised me that I started to look up. Like holly, I didn't know what holly was. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I knew what it was, but this has been so long since I celebrated Christmas, I just forgot what it was. You know, so anybody know what holly is?
Dang, I don't have
It was so I know everybody know what mistletoes are. But I didn't know what holly was. Or we'll just go through it. So holly had red berries. So when you see a bush that has not holly from Strathmore. No.
He said, what's mistletoe?
Oh, no, I don't know it. He never celebrated Christmas before, so you don't know what mistletoes are. So holly had the red. You know the wreaths, right? Mm-hmm. So hollies are the ones with the red berries, right? So if you see a wreath that has red berries, that's considered the holly, right? Mm-hmm. And the ones with the white berries on it was the mistletoes.
Oh, okay.
I always thought mistletoes were red berries. That's what I thought. It wasn't.
No, you know they hang.
They hang.
They had.
Kiss under the mistletoe.
Okay, yeah, and then that's what we get. That's what we're going into. So we want to dive into the mistletoes and the hollies, the wreaths. So pretty much every evergreen plant you might associate with Christmas was actually the solstice tradition first. These were plants that were typically thriving, or they thrived during the winter months. I mean, so holly, mistletoes, evergreen trees, they didn't lose their green. They didn't die. So that's, so, and because it was often a pagan tradition to bring in flowers and plants from the outside to decorate one's home during every holiday, these were one of the most that were associated with the winter solstice. All right, mistletoe is especially steeped in pagan ritual. It is, as it is often used by Celtics or the Celts, as a symbol of sexuality, fertility, and abundance. The mistletoe is a symbol of sexuality, fertility, and abundance. But the reason they kiss under the mistletoe goes back to Scandinavian mythology. Scandinavian, what the ancient Scandinavians were Vikings.
Right.
Were Vikings. Scandinavian mythology. So here's how the story goes. Baldar, the son of Odin, all of these are gods of Scandinavian mythology. Baldar, the son of Odin, and Frigg, Baldar was so beloved that his mother made everything because of his birth, which included trees, stones, elements, and they also contributed sickness to her, promising that these things would not harm him. Baldar, that is. However, Loki, the god, the trickster, or the god of fire, found that she had forgotten to ask about the mistletoe. This is how the story goes, and this is how this thing came about. And killed Baldar. So Loki killed Baldar with a dart fashioned with the poisonous plant. Afterward, Frigg, Baldar's mother, vowed that the plant should never be used as a weapon, and she would kiss anyone who passed under it. So that's where you get the kissing under the mistletoe. So when people would pass under the mistletoe, what they actually were doing was being intimate with the god Frigg.
Wow.
She would kiss because Loki killed her son. Because Loki killed her son using the poison from that plant. She said it would never be used as a poisonous plant again. And she would kiss anyone that would stand under it. So, so you essentially are standing under this mistletoe, giving yourself over to this God, or giving yourself in some type of intimate way to this God. You have to know where these things come from. You have to know where these things come from. You need to do your research on what you're doing. Don't be standing under the mistletoe. It's just, most of the time, the brothers be in lust.
Yeah.
They just have a mistletoe at the Christmas party and be like, come here, girl, under the mistletoe. I'm under the mistletoe.
Hey, girl.
Come here,
I
girl.
thought that was Michael Jackson. Come on, girl.
All right, let's get the scripture. Come on, girl. Let's get the scripture. Jeremiah 10 and 8.
Jeremiah 10, verse 8. But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanity.
The doctrine is vanity. The Christian church doctrine is nothing. They have no idea where they get their traditions from. They don't study the background. They don't study the historical the historical content of where they get where this thing derived from. They just stand in the pulpit and make up stuff and hum with a tune And that's it. Hopefully you can feel good and send you off to damnation. There is no salvation in it. There is no salvation. We laugh, but it's sad. No salvation in it. Leave your offering. Go to hell. Or damnation. And by hell, I mean death. Habakkuk 2:19.
Habakkuk 2:19. Woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise. It shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it.
There is no breath at all in your yew tree. There's a song that they sing, and it's a very old song, and it's called Old Christmas Tree. They hold hands and rock. It was a cartoon. Was that the what is it called? The what? The Grinch?
Charlie Brown.
The Grinch. Oh, no, it was the Grinch.
I don't know.
Oh, Christmas tree. It's Charlie Brown. Okay, yeah. They see that's a song of worship towards this tree.
Right.
Towards this tree. Read Habakkuk 2:19 again, please.
Woe unto him that saith to the wood,
He's gonna say to this wood, "Come on,
awake,
come on and awake, oh Christmas tree,
to the dumb stone,
to the dumb stone.
arise.
Arise.
It shall teach.
It's your what?
It shall teach.
Come on.
Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver.
What they call those little things they put on the Christmas tree? What is it? No, it's the stringy things. It's gold and silver. It's called wreaths.
Tinsel.
Gold and
No, stencil.
No.
Tinsel.
Tinsel.
Oh, tinsel.
Right.
Tinsel. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You pick it up with your hand like this, just throw it on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Tinsel.
Tinsel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gold is gold. Not most of the times it's gold and it's silver.
Right.
Gold and silver.
It is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it.
This tree is a dumb idol. This tree is a dumb idol. So let me get down to this, because we have a misunderstanding as Israelites as well. Because you have certain Israelite groups that, because we believe in Yahushua Messiah, Yahushua, the Mashiach himself, because we believe in a Messiah, they seem to think that we're similar to Christians. No, not at all. Not at all. So here are some names of some gods throughout history that are said to have been born by a virgin on the 25th of December. Are y'all ready? Y'all want me to read them slow because y'all gonna write them down, or y'all just want to go through them and y'all come back later again?
Where you going from Babylon up?
I'm going from Egypt up. Going from Egypt up. All right, Horus is one. Horus, so that's an Ethiopian Sudanese god born the 25th of December by a virgin around 3,000 years before Jesus.
How does the name?
Horus,
Yeah.
Horus. You can this is something that you can go on history.com and you can find it. You can go to the Encyclopedia Britannica and you can find all of this information. All of this information. Yeah. So did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Buddha is a Nepal god, born the 25th of December by a virgin around 563 years before Jesus. And I'm saying Jesus for a reason. All right. Krishna is an Indian god, born the 25th of December by a virgin around 900 years before Jesus. Hercules, a Greek god, born the 25th of December by a virgin around 800 years before Jesus. How you say that? Mithra.
Spell it.
Mithra. Mithra. A Persian god, born the 25th of December by a virgin 600 years before Jesus. Dionysus, a Greek god, born the 25th of December by a virgin 500 years before Jesus.
What kind of guy was she?
Pardon me?
Greek.
Greek. That was a Greek.
Oh, I thought I didn't say that? Thought I did.
You might have. I just missed it.
Okay. Thammuz or Tammuz. Thammuz or Tammuz is a Babylonian god, born the 25th of December by a virgin around 400 years before Jesus, and we can read him in the Bible. We can read all of them actually in the Bible. We want to get this one special. Ezekiel 8 and 14. The Babylonian god Tammuz,
Ezekiel 8 and 14.
who is the son of Nimrod.
Ezekiel 8 and 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Most High's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping
These women were weeping, come on,
for Tammuz.
for Tammuz. Is that it?
That's it.
They sat in the door of the house of the temple, weeping for Tammuz. So Israelites have always had an infatuation or fixation with worshiping the tree god, this tree god. All right, we're going back into some more gods here. Hermes, another Greek god, born December 25th by a virgin around 200 years before Jesus. Hermes, that's Hermes.
And that was another Greek one.
Another Greek god. Adonis, a Phoenician god, born the 25th of December by a virgin around 200 years before Jesus. Huh? Why are you laughing? Oh, you look at it. Oh yeah. Oh yes. And Jesus Christ, Caesar Borgia himself, a Roman god, born the 25th of December by a virgin around 300 AD. 300 AD. Not to be mistaken for Yahushua Messiah, not the same. Yahushua Messiah wasn't born in the middle of winter. He was born sometime more than likely, according to the Bible, more than likely right after in the summer, between the summer and the fall. In the summer and the fall. So that's another lesson for another time. All right. So you see that I added Jesus Christ into the false god category, right? All right, because he is Caesar Borgia himself. All right. Many who understand religious history know that in the early 4th century, the Emperor Constantine became the Emperor of Rome, who allowed Christianity to flourish for the first time. And eventually, Rome would be adopting it as their official religion. Yet overall, things didn't seem to change very much in the empire itself. It seems as well. This proclamation really didn't seem to change what the pagan populace would think about their pagan gods. So the church state did not demand the pagans to stop keeping their pagan worship. They just joined them, and they implemented their pagan worship into the quote-unquote Christian church, right? Right. So in 313, Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, which commanded official tolerance for Christianity and other religions. Now, remember, at first, they called the disciples Christians because they were followers, in the Greek term, of Christ. Followers of Christ. Remember, those people that called him Christ were Greek-speaking people. That's why they called him Christ, our Messiah. That's why they called him Christ. So you go 200 to 300 years after, you have still the disciples of the Messiah still preaching and teaching and following the law, statutes, commandments of Most High. They could not deny it. The movement was growing. The movement was growing. So what Constantine did, the emperor, he said, you know what? I'm just going to take, since I can't beat them, I'm going to join them. I'm going to take their religion and make it my own. I'm going to take what they do and say, now I'm a Christian too. And I'm going to implement all of my pagan worship into Christianity because, after all, he is the emperor, right? So that's when Christianity changed. It was not the same. It's not the same as the disciples kept it. We kept laws, statutes, commandments, and they called us Christians. Not that we called ourselves Christians. They called us Christians. They called us Christians. Okay? All right. The book Conversations of Constantine. Constantine becomes a Christian. In the time of Constantine, the cult of Deus Sol Invictus was still at its height, and the portrait of the sun god was on the coins of Constantine. So he had a picture or image of the sun god on his money. Constantine did on his money. So Sol Invictus means unconquered sun. Constantine was a sun worshiper. He was a sun worshiper. So when you see the Catholic Church, which is the mother of all Christianity, the Catholic Church is the mother. I don't care if you're Baptist, AME, Methodist. I don't care what Pentecostal. I don't care what you are, Episcopalian. I don't care what you are. All Christianity doctrine and robes come from Roman Catholic religion. They all do. So Sol Invictus and unconquered sun was the official sun god of the later Roman Empire and the patron of soldiers. On the 25th of December, AD 274, the Roman Emperor Aurelian made it an official cult alongside the traditional Roman cults. So it became the church state. The church state. All right? Let me Revelations 18:4. We're almost done, y'all.
You just said cult,
Yeah.
church, and state.
And state.
I don't know if anybody got that.
Revelations 18:4.
Revelations 18:4.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her,
Come
my
out of
people.
her. Come on out of her, Israelites, Israel. And you Christians, come out of her. Come on.
That you be not partakers of her sins.
Don't be partakers of her sins.
And that you receive not of her plagues.
And you don't want to receive any of her plagues. Our forefathers, we are receiving the plagues because of what our forefathers did. They did not come out of her, and look at where we're at now. So come out of her. 2 Corinthians, last scripture. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Yes. I missed the scripture too. I know I did. I missed it, but give me 2 Corinthians 6 and 17.
2 Corinthians 6 and 17.
Well, we'll let's go to the one that I missed. I don't have it, but it's in my head though. 1 Corinthians 12. 1 Corinthians 12, 1 and 2.
First Corinthians 12, verses 1 and 2. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols.
You was carried away with these dumb idols.
Even as you were led.
Even as you were led. Don't be led away into these dumb idols. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17, and we're done.
2 Corinthians 6, verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Most High, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
You will be received of the Most High Yah if you touch not the unclean thing. Come out of these churches, you Christians, with your idol worship, and do not worship these dumb idols. Come out in the name of Yahushua Messiah. Come out. So with that being said, we hope that all of you are having a blessed Shabbat. We hope that you can glean and have a greater understanding for what we have brought forth today. So with that being said, we say, Y'all bless. Y'all bless. Y'all bless. Shalom.